Alright, so I picked up this Reckless fairing that's supposed to be for a Road King. It actually came off a Freewheeler Trike, but it's in pretty good shape. I got it pretty cheap, way cheaper than I could find in like a Softail fairing. It's got some stickers on there. You can tell a little buffing paint will come back out, so you know that's no big deal. But it's got no major like scratches, just a little minor blemishes. But the bike we're putting it on isn't perfect either. So big issue though is the mounting hardware is not the same, or the brackets. So we're gonna try to modify these brackets, and if we can't do it, we're gonna try to make some new ones, or see if we can order ones. Reckless Fairings wants $250 just for some little pieces of steel that are bent a little bit. I'm not gonna pay that. I think what we'll probably do is get these brackets off. There's some measurements available to change this width right here. So if we cut up, if I can get that to look at that. So if we just extend these up a little bit, I think that will be able to fit, because the Road King mounts are like 6.5 inches, I think, center to center here, and Fatboy's 7.5. So we need another inch from like center here. But yeah, we're gonna open up the fairing, pull these off, and then we're gonna try to see if we can draw something up. They're too wide as well. Now, clearly you could use spacers just to make up that width, but it requires quite a bit of spacing, so we'll see. We'll probably do spacers first and get a measurement that way, and then decide on what we're gonna do permanently after that. If the spacers seem all right, maybe I'll run it, but if it has too much spacing, I just don't want, have super long bolt with all those spacers, because I'm pretty sure they can only thread in so far into that bracket, so I don't want too much torque being on those. But we'll definitely see how it's gonna go. Let's just get this fairing opened up first. All right, so the first thing we're gonna have to do is looks like get these screws out. They're all edges. They're a torque screw. These should separate. I don't know exactly how. I'm thinking I'm actually gonna flip it over and take the outer off the inner. Oh, I can hear the amp like sliding around in there. It supposedly has a 1500 watt amp on the inside. We're about to find out. All right, let's see. Make a little more space for this. Cool. Yeah, it looks like that was taped down at one point. It came off. So we can just re-tape that down while we're in here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a template out of this cardboard box. All right, so we've got this cut out. We got our little mounting hardware in here. Turn this a little more. Might as well just have you guys down quite a bit. There's my knee. All right, so we got these mounting holes in there. We're just gonna measure to verify, make sure what we read online is good. So they should be like 6.5 center to center. Yeah, that looks like it is, right? And then here, let's take a little field trip. All right, so on the bike, right, let's verify. Center to center, 7.5 inches, right? So that's what we're gonna make the bracket fit. All right, so let's dial it back a little bit. So what we did here is we went out to the bike, got a measurement, and we made a mark at 7.5 inches right here. To do that, we just throw this bottom circle in, then measure out 7.5 inches. Mark the center, this, trace the circle. Now we want the inner diameter of this, right? So let's test on this. Yeah, this has like no side-to-side play, which tells us that the inner diameter is just this width right here, which this is like where I don't really like measuring tape. I should have like a machinist ruler or something, but I don't. So we're just gonna try to get it close. So this is about the width of the outside of this 1/2 inch socket. Oh, look at that. That's like perfect, you know? Some things just work out. So we're actually gonna take that, try to center it. So now, this is, in theory, how this bracket should look. Alright, so put that 7.5 inches. That should come pretty close to there. Right? And it does. Once again, not best to measure this with a measuring tape, but it's what I got. Cool. So, in theory, this should go fit on the bike, and we'll test that later. So one more thing I forgot to check with this on the bike, it's the width between the brackets. So that's something we're gonna do right now. And one thing I'm already thinking is I'm just gonna flop those sides the brackets are on, because that'll make them a little closer because of the way the bend is. And then we can space it out from there. Batwingfairing.com says that this distance, the midpoint here, should be 13.25, and we are at 13.5/8. So my first idea is going to be to swap these brackets so that they actually point closer to each other, and then we might just space out the rest. Alright, so this first side, let's take this off. Alright, so we're trying to get 13.25. I'm pretty sure. We'll double check the width. By flipping those brackets, that's now, yeah, this probably isn't level. That's just about 13.25. On the back side, still getting more. Getting about 13.5. Oh wait, hold on. Let's get that even. Yeah, still 13.5. So these are angled a little. Yeah, it's fiberglass, so there's a little flex to it. So I think that'll flex out, really go in there, and that might provide some like outward push force to kind of lock it in there even more. Because it would have angled the same degree, flipped the other way, just canted outwards instead of inwards, which maybe that'll be a problem. That's a really easy problem to fix though, because that's just moving along one of these bends anyway on each side. So yeah, next we're gonna check the brackets we made, or not brackets, with the template we made. So let's set that down. I'm gonna have fiberglass in my skin. All right, and we'll go outside real quick. All right, so here's what our bracket would look like, how we had it cut out. Here, let's put the messed up side down. All right, yeah, so see, that's fully seated on the bottom down here. This one up here, it's like lightly touching it. So we'll just cut a little smaller first, just to be sure, because that's fully seated on the bottom. So this actually on here might be a little too loose, but once you tighten that down, maybe it'll be all right. Because it had these little notched washers. I think you might just crank it down instead of just having it sit on there for this. I don't know. All right, but anyway, so it said it should be 13 1/4 wide, right? That's 13 1/4. I cut this. That goes out way too far, but it's also, that measurement is to accommodate a light bar. So I think those mounts would go out, you know, about, say like that. It would push out the mounting points. So we can use spacers for that. I think I'm comfortable spacing it out that much. And we'll throw the fairing on. We'll just make a trip to hardware store tomorrow. So let's get to cutting some of these brackets. Gonna duct tape this piece of cardboard on just to hold it in place. All right, so we got this cut. They look pretty nasty, but I think they're pretty close. So we're gonna throw some hardware on the bike, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna mock it up a little bit, see what we gotta change a little bit, because I'm sure I'll have to sand it. Yeah, and then we'll throw it on. All right, let's see. So the tops mount with these stepped washers, a flat washer. So we'll throw these in. So we're gonna do washer, a stepped washer, and then spacer. We'll see how that goes. One on the bottom, the other one on the bottom. Then I'm having trouble hooking the top. I'm not sure if it's just because I'm by myself or because it's not lining up. Let's just take these top ones out. We went shorter bolts on the bottom, longer on the top. So we had that one, wasn't able to thread in as far as the others. So we got creative and just made it equal on both sides. Now we're gonna try to mess with the wiring down here. Yeah, so let's set you guys down. So I'm gonna show you it up. There's like a couple fingers of space I'd like to take out, and it even looks like it could shift a little to the side. It's not crazy bad, but it is a little noticeable that it's off center. So yeah, let's get it shift that way, and then down a couple inches. We'll have to drill a couple new holes into the bracket. Right now we're gonna wire it up just to get everything working, take it on a ride like this, just because I want to ride it. And then yeah, we'll take it all back off, and we'll make some more measurements, cut some more holes in the bracket. All right. Pause this. This is probably paused. That's paused. All right. So let's take it out for the first ride with the fairing on. I can see clearly over the windshield. View's probably not as great for you guys, but you can see we got it mounted on. Here, let's actually take a minute and close this bag. That's gonna bug me. All right. Seems to be good. Gave it a couple shakes. Seems fine. Oh fuck, we forgot to put in our GPS where it is we're going. It's a little helpful. Pop the fingers. Yeah. Try to sneak on out through here. Pause that music again. Just while I talk to you fellas. So I want to lower the fairing about like an inch and make sure it's aligned all right. Just have to cut up the brackets in the front now, but the mounting for the actual forks are, well, they seem to be pretty good. I mean, clearly it's on there, huh? Really turn up this volume. Hopefully this is the way I wanted me to go. I think I should have gone on the other. I swear I heard the directions at first. Definitely feel the wind more on the handlebars. People say you don't. This is handling a bit different. It's also not down right. And my shirt's fucking flying up. God damn it. We're gonna stop and throw my vest on actually. We're gonna check the map. But yeah, I mean everything seems good. Radio's working. So yeah, I mean, I'll cue you guys back in when we're gonna make some modifications. We're also gonna, we're also gonna make a connector so that these wires can come on and off easily. But yeah, so looks good. Definitely blocking the wind. Starts feeling it again right here. It's like just hitting me top of the helmet. When I lower it, I should be able to just feel it a little bit more. Should be good. Because I think it's like going a little too high over. I'm not getting really much air at all. All right.
Head west. In 300 feet, slight left onto the ramp to Rhode Island 5 south.
All right, thanks for watching the video. In the next one, we're gonna be cutting the bracket, or not cutting it, drilling a couple more holes to lower that fairing, get it to fit nicer on the headlight. Every video or forum I saw, there's not many videos about mounting a fairing because it's pretty self-explanatory, but all the forums said, you know, Road King, definitely Freewheeler wouldn't fit on a Softail. And, you know, it's just a couple cuts you got to make, and you'll get it to mount on there. You want it to fit a little better, just got to drill a couple holes, it looks like. And then I have a connector I ordered, so that way I can solder the wires, run them actually to the battery where they should go. I just have them on the ignition switch right now, which I don't want to keep it there. And that way I can take the fairing off and on easier. I'll probably won't keep that fairing on for around town stuff. I like the look of the Fatboy without it. Maybe I'll throw on some, you know, fog lights, passing lights, whatever you want to call them. I might do that. Probably still won't do that. But that would get rid of some of those spacers I'm using. But besides that, yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this inspires someone else to go get that shitty Batwing off Facebook Marketplace. I actually went outside and buffed it earlier, like maybe an hour ago, and the paint's coming back all right. You know, it wasn't great paint to begin with, but looks better now than it did before. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.